Calaroga Shark Media.
Hey, I'm Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news, a daily briefing on stand-up comedy, comedians, and the comedy industry, a sentence the algorithm loves. Before we begin, two quick recommendations for you. I loved Derek Stroop's new special on Netflix. It's called Nostalgic, if I recall correctly. Really, really fun. Just as weird as Chris Fleming's special is, this is straight down the middle. Good jokes, just throwing fastballs right in the middle of the strike zone. Good hour. Check out Derek Stroop. I also got around to Rooster on HBO. That's the Bill Lawrence show with Steve Carell, John McGinley, and even Jamie Tart from Ted Lasso shows up in this thing. I thought it was a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to watching more Rooster, so check those two out. Nikki Glaser will return as host of the Golden Globes. The Golden Globes will be Sunday, January 10th, 2027. That means Johnny Mac will have to work late on a Sunday, as I will have to do this weekend because Conan O'Brien is hosting the Oscars. In The Hollywood Reporter, Conan had that big cover story, and they got into the murders of the Reiners. You may recall, Conan O'Brien hosted a holiday party in December that Rob and Michelle Reiner attended the night before they were found stabbed. Conan told The Hollywood Reporter, very simply, we had a party, we invited our really good friends, and then the next day, this terrible thing happened. Whatever difficulties my wife and I have experienced having our name attached to it are nothing compared to the scale of the tragedy for the family and the loss of Rob and Michelle. If you're a known person, your name's going to get dragged into things sometimes, but it's not a hardship. There's only one sadness, that they're gone. Conan told The Hollywood Reporter he has not talked about the Reiners on his own podcast because he felt that would be disrespectful. Conan has spoken about the Reiners in a New Yorker profile in which Conan said, I knew Rob and Michelle and then increasingly got closer and closer to them. My wife and I were seeing them a lot. They were just such lovely people. And have that experience of saying goodnight to somebody and having them leave and then to find out the next day that they're gone, I think I was in shock for quite a while afterward. It's just so awful, and I think how Rob felt things about that are happening in the country, how involved he was, how much he put himself out there, and have that voice go quiet in an instant, it's still hard for me to comprehend. Switching gears, a new poll from NBC News showed who the people trust. 1,000 registered voters were asked their opinions of a whole bunch of people. Stephen Colbert finished second on the list. First was Pope Leo XIV in net favorability. Stephen Colbert earned 35% positive ratings and 25% negative ratings, giving him a plus 10 net favorability score. Now, if he weren't helping to ruin Star Trek, he'd probably do even better. But now he's chosen evil. He's ruining Star Trek. There was a time when I would have supported his candidacy, but now, if he runs for office, I can't have somebody who ruins Star Trek in office. I'm sorry, sir. You blew it. Pope Leo had a plus 34 net rating, in case you're curious. Some people not doing as well. Marco Rubio, minus 7, J.D. Vance, minus 11, AOC, minus 11, and the President of the United States at minus 12. Rob Schneider has a theory. Schneider was on Bill O'Reilly's podcast and floated a theory that people like Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert are being controlled by women. That's right. These women are making Jimmy and Stephen thrash the president, seemingly on a nightly basis. Bill O'Reilly asked Rob Schneider why Jimmy Kimmel and others seem to vilify the president. Rob Schneider equated it to liberal women who have lost their minds and are controlling these men. One of the possible contributing factors is that Jimmy Kimmel's wife is the co-head writer on his show. Rob believes, I think that's completely ruined him. He adds that thanks to Mrs. Kimmel, Kimmel has no testicles. Ricky Gervais has denied telling a joke linked to the suspension of a nurse. Yeah, this gets all kinds of weird really quickly. James the nurse is accused of saying a sexualized remark to a colleague that I'm not going to repeat. James the nurse said he was just repeating a joke from Ricky Gervais. Ricky Gervais has said on his Twitter account that Ricky has never said anything like this in a sketch, screenplay, stand-up, or privately. A panel has determined that the language I don't want to repeat has no place in a professional healthcare setting. They said it was capable of causing shock and distress to colleagues, risked reputational damage to the profession, and was inconsistent with the standards expected of a registered nurse. Deadline caught up with Ali Siddiq. Siddiq noted that when people make lists of top comics, he's never really brought up, and he asks, but who has a better body of work? He put out 3 specials last year, which have accumulated over 24.2 million views. He is frustrated that the industry disregards work that is self-distributed. He said, what difference does it make where a special's at if people enjoyed it and it's good work? Back in 2018, he released the special It's Bigger Than These Bars with Comedy Central. Siddiq went to promote it on Instagram and was flagged for copyright infringement on his own work. He said, "I didn't like that feeling, so I decided I just want to put out my own stuff." These days, it would take a significant amount of money and a significant amount of negotiation about ownership to entertain a deal from a streamer. He says, realistically, I don't foresee it. I'm just floating on my own cloud.
Gossip corner, whispers in the street. Gossip corner, probably about Pete. Gossip corner, where the rumors meet. With Johnny Macking, it's always a treat.
We haven't been on Gossip Corner in a while, but today I have 3 items for you. Item number 1, if you're wondering, hey, is Russell Brand dead? Russell Brand is not dead. Apparently, this rumor goes back to a tweet from Dan Bongino. He posted, "There won't be another. One of the saddest days of my life. He was just different, and everyone who knew him knew it. May God rest your soul." That was accompanied by a picture of Dan Bongino, Russell Brand, and Charlie Kirk. But because it's Russell Brand in the center of the picture, a lot of people thought it was about Russell Brand. It is not. It was about Charlie Kirk. Our second item on Gossip Corner, Chelsea Handler is back from a romantic getaway with her new mysterious boyfriend. Apparently, they met at the blackjack table at the Cosmopolitan. As Chelsea Handler told the story to the Las Vegas Review-Journal, "I had to ask this guy sitting at a blackjack table who was wearing a cowboy hat. He had a lot of chips, like thousands of dollars. I was like, 'Hey, buddy, can I borrow $1,000? I'm going to start winning right away.' And he was like, 'Yeah, absolutely.' So he gave me $1,000. Well, she did start winning. She explains, "I paid him back another $1,000 just for interest, which I ended up taking back at the end of the night because I said, I don't think he deserved that." She has nicknamed him Cowboy. That's all we know about him so far. And some gossip sites are reporting that Tracy Morgan was irritated as Tracy Morgan was filmed struggling to get out of his Ferrari, and he had a new woman by his side. As the story goes, Tracy Morgan needed assistance exiting his low-sitting sports car in New York City. There's a 51-second video posted on Twitter by @KillaCrew, Killa Crew with a K where you'd normally put the C's and 2 W's at the end. We see Tracy Morgan grip the doorframe for support. A man in a dark suit approaches and extends his hand to assist Tracy Morgan. The man pulls on Tracy Morgan's arm to help him emerge from the vehicle. The woman gets out on her own, stands nearby. After a few seconds, Tracy Morgan is able to stand, but remains bent at the waist, steadying himself on the car before fully straightening up. This is all believed to be related to the injuries from his horrible 2014 accident. You may recall, Tracy Morgan was involved in a multi-vehicle collision on the New Jersey Turnpike when a tractor-trailer rear-ended the limousine bus Tracy Morgan was riding in. Tracy had significant injuries at that time. Hope he's doing well. Bobby Lee has announced a tour. Artist presale today at 10 a.m., general presale tomorrow. It is called Bobby Lee, the Finally Tour. Kicks off in Detroit April 24th. It'll hit a bunch of places, including Chicago, Toronto, Houston, Washington, D.C., Atlanta, and more. The trailer for the formerly untitled Will Ferrell golf series has been released by the Netflixes. That series is no longer untitled. It is now called The Hawk, which refers to Will Ferrell's character Lonnie the Hawk Hawkins, a fictional golf legend. In The Hawk, Lonnie Hawkins, 2004's #1 golfer, struggles on the back nine of his career to recapture his magic. Is that a metaphor? His body says retire, but his heart says he's not done yet. His ex-wife and his son Lance, golf's new golden boy, know he's through, but with one more major to win to complete golf's Grand Slam, Lonnie refuses to believe he's anything other than one stroke away from the greatest comeback in golf history. I'm going to predict I'm going to really hate this, and everybody else is going to really love it. Molly Shannon stars as Lonnie's foul-mouthed ex-wife Stacy. Some other people who appear in this thing are Fortune Feimster, Luke Wilson, Chris Parnell, and David Hornsby. You may know David from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Will Ferrell was sidelined for a bit in November. He suffered a minor injury off set. We don't know what it is, but it did keep him from filming a few scenes, forcing producers to rearrange the schedule, according to TMZ. Amazon has announced a new special from Country Wayne. It is called Nostalgia, which I think is what Derek Stroop's special is called, isn't it? Well, the Country Wayne Nostalgia video will be on Prime on March 23rd. Nostalgia is full of funny and hilarious moments mixed with the truth. It gives that 90s feel. Isn't that Derek Stroop's special? No, because this one is in the Def Jam style of comedy. Did I imagine that I reported, like last year, Country Wayne was quitting comedy? Did I imagine that? Why would I imagine that? Yeah, July 31st, 2025. Country Wayne makes major life announcement. When it comes to stand-up comedy, my last show will be October 4th at the Cobb Energy Center in Atlanta for my Amazon special. Fascinating. That's your comedy news for today. What's today? Today's Thursday. It's your last chance to vote for this week's Comedy Survivor. Go to the Facebook group, Daily Comedy News Podcast Group. There's a list of comedians there. Vote one of them off, and I'll see you tomorrow.